Hey folks, welcome to Pit Pastor Barbecue. I'm Colby, your pit pastor. Today, I'm going to go over a couple different things. I've had some friends ask me some questions about how to set up certain grill setups with your charcoal. And hey, what do you use for this and what do you use for that? So I want to go over a couple quick things, some accessories that I use that I think are important. They may not be important to everybody, but I think they're important. And then how to do different types of two-zone grilling, snake method, different things like that. So we're gonna go over those things. Before we go any further, if you would like this channel, subscribe to it. That way you know whenever I post a new video, and share it with your friends. Hey, it's just a regular, normal guy that loves good food and loves Jesus and wants you to love him too. So the first thing that I think is important for anybody that's working around a grill is a nice apron. Now, it doesn't have to be an expensive one, just a good one that will deflect things. I have ruined so many t-shirts. I have grease spots, I've got charcoal stains, I've got all kinds of stuff on my t-shirts. Just about every t-shirt I own has been ruined because I didn't wear an apron. So I highly recommend an apron. It's got some pockets in it that you can drop stuff in, and I recommend them completely. So if you're getting ready to start doing some grilling and stuff, get yourself an apron that you can protect your shirts. That way you don't ruin them like I've ruined many of mine. The next thing that I think is important is some good heat resistant gloves. Now there's a bunch of different brands out there. I've got 3 different brands. Expert Grill from Walmart's got a pair, black pair. They're really nice. I got these here from a friend of mine. These are really good. That way you can pick up hands straight out of the smoker. You can pick them up off the grill and it doesn't burn. They're basically hot pads that give you the dexterity of your fingers. So highly recommend a pair of these. You can use hot pads. It's up to you, but I just like using these because I can still use my fingers. The other thing that I think is important is nitrile gloves. Now, they were hard to find for a while and they're kind of expensive now because of the demand, but I think that nitrile gloves are really important because you can rub the binders on the meats, you can cut chicken, you can do all that stuff and not get it all over your hands and all of that stuff. You've seen me doing it before. I've got a dirty hand and a clean hand, and I use these nitrile gloves for that. So you can get thin ones, the less expensive ones. These are double layered, so I use these. And the reason why I get the double layered ones is because I wear them with cotton inserts. Now you can see these cotton inserts have been through it, but what I do with these is I put these on first and then I put on a pair of nitrile gloves. And the reason for that is because once you put these on and you put on the nitrile gloves, you can move the meat around in the grill. You don't have to go get a spatula or tongs or anything like that. You can just use this and you can move them around, and it's still hot. Okay, don't let me lie to you. It is still hot, but it protects your hands and it doesn't burn. If you're holding on to it for a long period of time, you will burn yourself. But if you just grab onto it to move it, get it off the flame onto the cool side, just flip it over, whatever, real quick contact with the meat, these gloves are perfect. So I highly recommend you use the nitrile gloves for sure, and then get you some cotton inserts. Just go on Amazon and hit cotton inserts. If I can find a link, I'll put it in the description. But I think that these are really important. I like using these because I can move the meat around real easy and I don't have to get tongs because tongs drive me nuts. So that's what I think is those nitrile gloves. Another thing that I think is important, obviously, is a lighter. Now, you want to get yourself a good lighter. Many times you're out there and you're trying to start the charcoal up and the lighter isn't working, so you want to make sure you've got a backup. I've got 2 or 3 in my drawer. That way I've got a backup. If one doesn't work, I've got the other ones. And so make sure you get you a lighter that is reliable and that has juice in it. If you don't have the lighter fluid in it, it's no good to you. So make sure it's lit up. Especially if you've got a bunch of family members coming over, you want to make sure that you're ready to go with a good lighter. So the next accessory that I think is important is an instant read thermometer. This is the ThermoWorks Dash. They've got several different types out there. They've got the pen, they've got the pop, I got the Dash. Fairly inexpensive. I mean, obviously the higher degree of technology in it, the more expensive it is, but it's not too bad. You can get other brands out there. I prefer the digital one just because it gets to the 10th of a degree, and instead of watching the dial go, I like the digital one. So getting you a good a digital instant read thermometer, I think is important. Now you want to have some internal probes that you can stick into the meat. This is the ThermoWorks Dot. They've got several different brands. There's other ones out there. I've also got Inkbird. that has 3 or 4 different probes that you can put into them. So those are really good. But getting something that you can stick into, say you're doing a pork butt and you want to know the internal temperature, so you know when to wrap or you know when to pull it or whatever. So you want to take one of these, stick it into the fattest part of the meat, and then you're able to get a good reading on it, and you'll know, okay, it's at 200 degrees, I need to get ready to pull it off or whatever. So you want to get you a good one of the probe thermometers. There are some brands out there that are inexpensive, and there's some brands out there that are going to cost you an arm and a leg. They've got the Bluetooth kind, they got the kind that it's just a probe, you stick it in there and then you go, and it's on your phone. And it's just crazy how technology has gotten these probes. So highly recommend you getting a probe just for the larger meats. Now if you're doing several pork butts at one time, you need something that's going to give you several readings. So you want to get an Inkbird or something that has 4 or 5 different ports that you can put probes into. So a good internal probe I think is important when you're smoking meats and grilling food. Now when you're cooking with charcoal, I think something else that's important is a chimney. You don't have to have a chimney. You can just pile up the charcoal and you can light it. It's that simple. But I use these chimneys quite a bit. You can see this is the Expert Grill from Walmart. This is their brand. You just put the charcoal in, you stick something underneath. It can be paper towels, it can be newspaper. I use tumbleweeds. You can use wax cubes, put something underneath, light it, set it on top of that, and it lights the charcoal. Once the charcoal gets really hot, now it's gonna smoke like crazy when you first start it, but once it gets really hot and the smoke is gone, that's when you know your charcoal's ready to start cooking with. So once it does that, you pour it into your grill, you're ready to go. This is the Weber brand. It's a little bit bigger than the Walmart brand. It's really good. I've used this a ton. I use this one more than the other one just because it has more space and I can put more in it. Char Griller has one that you pull a trigger and everything just drops out of the bottom. I mean, that's pretty nice too. So it just depends on your need. But a chimney is really nice to have, really good to use. So I recommend a good chimney. So one of the questions I get is how do you do the charcoal? You got 2-zone. You've got direct, you've got the 2-zone or the indirect, you've got the snake, you've got these little basket things. What is all this about? So I want to take you real quick into 3 or 4 different methods of charcoal grilling. Very simple, very easy. You can't go wrong with it. So the first one I have here, I got my Weber grill set up, is I've got these charcoal baskets. Now these things are really nice to have. They're easy to use, and the nice thing about them is when you light them up, you can now you put your charcoal in a chimney. I'm not going to light this charcoal because it's going to ruin my charcoal, and I really don't need it to be cooking right now. But you light your charcoal in your chimney. You pour half of it into one, half of it into the other. The nice thing about these baskets is you can set it up to have your meat in the middle so the heat is around the outside. You can set it up for a 2-zone where you've got your heat on one side, your meat on the other side. You can set it up any way you want to. You can put it in the middle and put chicken wings around the outside. Man, there's just so many things that you can do with this. Just use 1 basket, use 2 baskets. There's so many things that you can do with this. So I like these baskets for that purpose. And so if you've got some of these, I recommend using them. They're not that expensive to use, but you can definitely get a good smoke or good cook off of those. I like doing it with this. If I'm doing a small pork butt or even a small chicken, put it right in the middle and let the charcoal cook around the outside. So I think that's a good way to use it, and they're very easy to operate. So here we've got what we'll call 2-zone or indirect cooking. So you've got your charcoal lit up. It's on the side, and then you've got your meat on the other side. So you can control the heat. A lot of times if I'm doing burgers, I'll put the burgers on this side for a little while, and then I'll put them over here to sear them, and I can control the flare-ups and throw them back over to the cool side. When I get stuff close to temp, I'll move it over and move the next ones over. That way I can control it a little bit better. So I really 90%, 95% of the cooking I do is this 2-zone indirect stuff, just because I can control how much flame and flare up can go on the meat, and it just makes it a lot easier. So what you want to do is when you've got your grill on and you got your grate on, you've got your charcoal to the side, you've got your meat on this side. You take your lid and you want your vent over the meat. So when you put it on, the vent is sitting on top of the meat, and it is drawing the smoke from the charcoal side. It's drawing it out this side, so it's coming across, the heat and everything is coming across the meat and coming out here. So when you do 2-zone, you got your charcoal on one side, you've got your vent on the other side above the meat. That's how you want to cook that on indirect or 2-zone cooking. And last but not least is the snake method. Now what you do is you stack, you put your charcoal 2 by 2, 2 across and 2 up on top of each other. You stack them up, and you're going to light it on one end, and then you're going to put your meat in the middle, and what's going to happen is it's going to burn its way around. Now you see the wood I got in there, so when it hits that, it's going to get you some smoke, then it's going to go and it's going to get you some smoke. And so this is for the longer cook. So if you're doing like a pork butt or a chicken or something like that, this is the method you would use in a Weber kettle or any kind of kettle grill that you're using with charcoal to do that. So there you have it, a couple different accessories that I think are important to do backyard grilling, a couple different ways to set up your charcoal grill in order to do different types of meats, and how to cook and control the flame and control the temperature of your meat. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, if you like this channel, subscribe to it. Hit the bell so you can get notified whenever I load a video. My goal is to load a video every Friday. Sometimes I get busy with ministry and I don't have an opportunity to do that, but my goal is to get a video out there every week. I just want to do good food in the backyard grill. Very simple, very easy, and I want you to know Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. That's the most important thing. It ain't the meat, it's Jesus Christ. God bless you. Have a great week.